Hello, everyone. My name is Michele Schahczenski, and I just have this one slide for you, so lots of info on there. But my name is Michele Schahczenski, and I am part of a new role and a new project at Utah State University. So my role is the Organic Outreach Coordinator, and I am part of the team at USU working on the Transition to Organic Partnership Program, also known as TOPP. And so TOPP's goal is really to support and grow the number and network of certified organic producers in Utah. So kind of the biggest question there is, what is USDA certified organic? So lots of people are familiar with the label, but maybe a little less clear on what it actually means and what it actually takes for producers to gain that certification. So basically, in order to sell, label, or advertise any agricultural product as organic, it must be produced in compliance with the National Organic Program federal regulations. And then it also has to be verified by a USDA accredited certifying body. And so a little more specifically, the Organic Agronomy Training Service, they actually define organic agriculture as, firstly, a set of principles or a set of production practices and principles rooted in natural systems. And it's defined, regulated, and protected by the USDA. Organic provides a verification method for consumers and a market premium for farmers. And then just kind of as a note, organic production really is the only agricultural production system that is verified by law. So it's actually built into the Federal Code of Regulations, and it is backed by the Organic Foods Production Act. So it is one of the few labels out there that is actually kind of backed by law. So any organic crop, livestock producer, handler, what you have to do to get certified organic is you would develop and implement what they call an organic system plan. And this basically just outlines how your practices are in compliance with this federal code of regulation. And then you take that application and you apply with a certifying body. And these certifying bodies can be both public or private. So a public example is the Utah Department of Agriculture. So that's a public certifying body. And then there's also private certifying bodies, which would be something like Oregon Tilth. So they're not associated with the government, but they are all accredited under the USDA and are providing that verification of compliance to the USDA standards. So you would create your organic system plan. You would apply with a certifying body. They would then send somebody out and you would kind of get into the program, get approved and get into the program. And then each year after that, you're going to update that organic system plan. And each year there will be a organic inspector that will actually come out to your property and inspect your operation. So this process, it can certainly be challenging. It can certainly be costly depending on kind of your current operation and if you're currently conventional, if you are currently maybe not emphasizing record keeping that much on your operation. So it can be time consuming to kind of get into depending on your current operation. But it can also be a really great option for producers. And hopefully with the Transition to Organic Partnership Program, we can help. So hopefully you don't have to do it alone, and we're here to help. So what is TOPP specifically? TOPP is 6 regions nationwide working together towards this common goal, like I said, to grow the network of organic producers. And USU is Utah's state lead for this project. And our TOPP team is working in 4 key areas, as you can kind of see on the slide there. We're working towards technical assistance, so creating a resource library where people can go and find Utah-specific technical resources and technical assistance, hopefully field days, educational events, We're also trying to do a community needs analysis, so just better understanding what the challenges and barriers are to people going organic, and sharing that information with folks. The second aspect is community building. So fostering connections within the organic agriculture community that are already there. And then workforce training and development is our third area, and that is actually other parts of the top team are actually creating courses and certificates to actually get organic farming certificate at USU. So kind of that workforce development. And then the final piece is what I want to talk more about today, which is mentorship. So we are a big part of this project is creating a mentorship program in which we're connecting experienced certified organic producers with those transitioning to help guide them through the transition process and offer direct farmer to farmer mentorship. So no matter what you're producing, whether or what your size is, maybe it's grains or veggies or fruits, maybe it's livestock. If you're certified organic or if you are thinking about transitioning, I would love to hear from you. So the mentees in this program are those who are thinking about transitioning. So there are people who own or are employed by an existing agricultural operation. Mentees will receive 40 hours of direct real-time one-on-one mentorship, as well as a $500 travel and education stipend over the course of the year. And then our mentors are the experienced certified organic farmers. We'd like them to have at least, ideally, 3 years of active organic, certified organic farming experience. And those who want to kind of share what they've learned and help guide transitioning farmers. Mentors will actually receive a $3,000 stipend over the course of the year. And that's for their time and expertise. This program is really just trying to, we know that that's kind of already happening, that experienced farmers are helping those who are just wanting to get into organic farming, but we just don't want that process to be burdensome. We want to grow those relationships and support those relationships. So yeah, so really that's what that mentorship program is all about. Applications are open on a rolling basis. So we are currently talking with mentors. We are currently seeking mentees. So if you're interested or if you know anybody that's interested, please pass them along. My information is up here. Yeah, pass them along. Or if you just have questions about organic certification and what it takes to become organic certified, please let me know. I did not keep track of my time. I don't know where I'm at. That's all I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
You're actually in great shape time-wise. There is one question.
Okay.
Says, what's the difference between organic and all natural?
Yes, great question. So all natural, I am not totally sure where who kind of runs that label. It's probably, I would guess a lot of the other labels are private companies or consumer interest groups that are creating a label, but they aren't really it's not backed by law. So like I said, organic is the only USDA organic is the only label out there that is backed by the Organic Foods Production Act, which is administered by the Agricultural Marketing Service, which is then overseen by these accredited certifying bodies. So it is backed by law. It's in the Federal Code of Regulations, which all natural isn't. I mean, that's not to say that it didn't, that consumer group didn't put a lot of time and thought into those. They probably have, a list of things that they want folks to do in order to get that all natural label. Anyway, so I'm not exactly sure what those checkboxes are, but I know that the backing and the third-party inspection of the two different labels is quite different.
We've got time for another one here. It says, sounds like I'm still able to advertise and market my produce, flowers, honey, fruit, etc., as grown organically without incurring the increased cost and time of becoming certified. Is that true?
Yes, it's a fuzzy line. I think Yeah, you quoted they're grown organically. You are right, but I think if you put organic produce in a sign like that, that is illegal. It's a, ooh, I think it's $5,000 a year. If you're under $5,000 a year, you're still technically supposed to use organic principles, but you don't actually have to go through, you have to register with the USDA, but you don't actually have to undergo certification. So if you're selling less than that minimum amount, but yes, increased cost and time. I mean, if you're selling more than that amount and you do want to say this produce is organic, I mean, consumers are starting to recognize that they want to see the actual USDA certified organic. I mean, it's just a way to confirm with your consumers, like, look, we have taken the time to go through this certification process, and therefore you can charge a premium. I mean, that is kind of the trade-off there. And the consumer can really trust that you are doing what you say you're doing. But yeah, so it is a little funny with that, like grown organically, but I think you can't actually put like organic produce on something.
Thanks. Just a note, one of our extension specialists provided a link on some of the definitional things between organic and all natural. So it's in
Oh,
the
cool.
chat,
Great.
actually in the chat.
Awesome.
Kim sent that link so you can take a look at that. And then one last question real quick. We got about 30 seconds here. How does surrounding farms that are using chemicals affect my ability to certify?
Totally. I get this question all the time. So it will affect your organic system plan. So you have to, as part of your organic system plan, you'll have a map of your property and you'll say this property next to it is conventional and they are using chemicals. And then essentially you just have to justify how you are reducing the risk of drift. So that might be a buffer. The buffer could just be natural grasses for a couple 100 feet or something like that, or it could be trees, depending on, are they using aerial sprayers? Are they, how are they applying their chemicals? Likely, but buffers are kind of the industry standard, that you're having some sort of buffer that you aren't harvesting. Like say your grain producer, you wouldn't be harvesting. Usually they would just leave it in natural grasses. And there isn't, unfortunately, in the regulation, there isn't like 20 feet is the standard. It's just, you would put it in your organic system plan, and your certifying body would kind of say, yes, we think that's sufficient to reasonably reduce risk of contamination. So it doesn't stop you from being able to be certified organic. Lots of places have conventional folks next door.
Awesome.